do the mess around. When I said, you said, say go. Shake your leg and do the mess around.
Hi everyone, it's Mr.T back again. Thanks for tuning in. In this documentary, we're going to figure out whether you might be too stingy, too tight when you're dealing with the locals here, or whether you're a financial pushover. Here we go. Everyone, I'm with Johnny, who you've seen in some of my documentaries. Thanks for jumping on camera.
Hey, hello, Mr. T. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Now, how do you handle beggars down here, Johnny?
Oh, beggars, it depends upon the situation. What I mean by that is, if the beggar really looks like there's somebody in need, they're not a hustler, they're begging, and I see that the person is crippled or missing a leg or in serious need and not just hustling, and then I treat each case differently. But I would normally give them something, whether it be a beverage or something from the supermarket, oranges or an apple or
in every case?
Something. Well, like I said, each case is different. If it looks like somebody that I think just gonna need like $1 or something like that, then I'll give them, the peso equivalent of $1.50. So don't spoil them in that regard. But if I feel that they have a need for that and they're not going to go out and do drugs with it, which the beggars, you can tell right away. It's not like beggars from where I come up north, where they're begging and a lot of them are addicts. That's not the case down here. And if it is the case, you would know it right away. But normally they're begging because they've got a medical issue and they can't work.
So the little kid who comes up, rubs his tummy and holds his hand out, how do you handle him?
Oh boy, that can just be a hustle. The parents could be sitting at home doing drugs or drinking, not so much drugs, but drinking or abusing their money, what little money they have, and just send a kid out to hustle, sending a kid out to be a real worker.
Well, if I may put something in there, I once had just bought bananas here, and one of these kids came up, rubbed his tummy and held the hand out, and I said to him, "Are you hungry?" in Spanish. "Tu hambre." Okay, and then I ripped a banana off and handed it to him, and then he went like that with his elbow, which
telling
means
you're cheap.
Tight ass, and he stormed off, and then I yelled at him, I said, "You're not hungry.
Yeah.
You just wanted to smoke that up."
Yeah. So you have to, just kind of look at each situation, look at the person, and use your own judgment and do whatever you feel out of your heart would be appropriate.
Yep.
On the beach today, you know what it is, with Educat. You're on the beach, you're waiting for the Super Bowl. We are everybody from New Jersey, New York, Boston. That's what it is, bro.
Now, Johnny, when it comes to hustlers, people who speak very good English, who seem to be able to provide any service under heaven or earth, to people, how do you handle those kind of guys?
Oh, no, I have no time for hustlers. Usually that person has been deported from Canada or United States or somewhere like that if they come up here and they're speaking English. But if they're, if they're a Dominican or a Haitian, they've been deported from another country back if they speak really good English normally and they're out hustling like that. The hustlers, I just dismiss them almost immediately. Just say no. Just say no, and then they're going to come back and they'll say, they won't beg, but they'll request again some money or some kind of a favor. And then the last thing they'll do as you're walking away is they'll say, "How about tomorrow?" They'll say mañana in Spanish. Never say mañana or never say later, because they will remember mañana and they will remember later. And when you're walking down on the beach on that particular day, this guy's going to be right behind you saying, "You remember you promised me you would give me something tomorrow." They don't say, "You promised me," and they will be on your butt. So end it right there.
So what about the guy who says, "But I've never asked you for anything before. I'm only asking for 100 pesos.
Oh boy, yeah, I've had that happen. Just the same thing. You got to cut it off right there. No, and keep on walking.
Everyone, I've got Alex with me here on camera again. Thanks for jumping on screen here.
Oh, no problem.
Now, you're half Dominican, half Puerto Rican.
That's correct.
And I've watched you over time work, and you work hard. Would you consider yourself what they would down here, the gringos, call a hustler?
Yes, I do.
And what is a hustler?
Well, in the positive way, a hustler to me is when you're hungry for something, like you want something. You're hustling for your food, you're hustling for if you got kids, I come out here every day and I work in the gift shop. So what I do is, I do not hustle for more money. I hustle for the right price, and I'm trying to work it out, you know, with what they call here the gringos or the tourism. I work it out with them, you know, the price, you know. If you purchase, I eat. If you don't purchase, I don't eat. But my hustling is that I make sure that you purchase, regardless we got to give you a discount or not.
What about the service? Most hustlers that I've met, they're kind of willing to be everything from a tour guide to a shopping assistant to a translator to a motor concho. I mean, how wide a spectrum do you cover?
Hey, thank you. Welcome to Dominican. That's all I can say, you know. But people over here are hungry, right? Not only because the way the government is treating us, because it's the right thing to say, because, you know, nobody get paid the right thing, the minimum wage, like we like to call it, or the wage or the rate. Dominicans don't like to pay money, first of all. So everybody doing their different hustling for people. Some people hustle for the action. Some people hustle because that's the way they grew up. And some people hustle because they got kids and family. Also, some people hustle because they love the game. So, you know, it's all type of hustlers out here. But one thing that we got to understand, this country, without the tourism, it's nothing, because people is in need, especially people that live in Sosua, like myself, you know. I consider myself both half and half, Dominican, Puerto Rican, but I'm in Dominican, I'm in my father's land. So, you know, over here hustling in the positive way, it's a good thing. It's just sometimes people go over here when they're hustling, and that brings a little, you know what I'm saying? I won't say drama, but, you know, a little like,
So, any advice you can give to the viewers if they approach somebody who is a hustler?
yes.
How should they go about it?
Well, you know, to American people, Canadians, Germans, Russians, whatever you're from, doesn't matter, we're all human beings. I'm going to tell you like this. This is my opinion, this is my suggestions. Before you move on with somebody, make sure you talk the price. Simple. This is DR, let's be real about it. Everybody do everything for a price, for something. Nothing is free. It's not like a credit card in the United States that they tell you they're going to send it to you and later on you grab the bill. It's not free, so you know what you got into it.
So negotiate everything up front.
Always on front, even with the ladies, man. Even with the ladies, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, okay, she's trying to, you know, she tell me one thing and she tell me another. Yeah, but negotiate the price on front. Maybe you want to give it half on front, half later. I don't know. However you want to do it. You know what you get into, you know what I'm saying? Just be careful. I don't think you got to worry about nothing like physical or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the art. You come over here out of the States to be stressless. You don't want to think about bills. You don't want to think about family. You're here by yourself. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Drink what you want. You know, just be careful. Don't drive and drink, but even though you can.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alex.
Hey, you're welcome,
Great
man.
comments.
Hey.
And all the best down here.
And let me tell you something. I'm going to say it in Spanish and English. La mejor plata es la palabra del hombre. The best money you can buy is the man's word. When you give me your word, that's the best money you can get. Appreciate it, man. One love,
Cheers.
man.
Okay.
See you later.
Take care. Thanks.
Some knucklehead tried to diss. Those girls are on my list. He had game, but he chose to hit him. And I pull up quick to get with him. So lazy, but is round. And you want triple X throw down? Down 1-900 mix a lot and kick them nasty thoughts. Baby got back.
Everyone, I'm here with Shelley from Coco Hotel. Thank you very much for being on camera, Shelley.
I love to be on camera. Not really.
Really? That's excellent. Now, Shelley, how do you handle the beggars down here?
Well, first of all, there certainly are a lot of beggars down in the Sosua area, and by that I mean the people that are trying to sell you something or get some things from you. As far as the beggars on the streets and that go that are just searching for money, you don't see quite as many of them, and virtually I walk by. And one of the things is that I'm down here 6 months of the year for the last 12 years, and there's no way I can afford giving every beggar in town something. So I walk by the beggars, I smile, I always smile, give them a smile, and on I go. I don't give to the beggars. Lots of people do, and I have no difficulty with that.
And Shelley, how do you handle the hustlers, the people who speak really good English, but they are Dominicans, come up to you and say, give me this, give me that, I can help you this and help you that. What do you say to them?
Well, again, it's sort of like, well, thank you very much. I'm fine. Don't need your help. Things are going well with me. You have to be really careful because there's a lot of people around looking for the dollar, the almighty dollar, as we call it. And you just have to play it cool with them. You're polite. I mean, you're polite. You're nice to them. You thank them or whatever, but you move on. And you can walk away from it. They hope you won't, and they will follow you for a ways and ask you to come back or whatever, or say, oh my God, you know, my mother's dying, or there's somebody in hospital, or whatever the story is, and you just have to learn to walk away.
Learn to say no.
Learn to say no is the most important thing in this country.
Is there some times where you do actually say yes because you feel you want to help them?
Yes, and of course that is times, like I said, I've been here 12 years. I know a lot of the people in Sosua. It's a small town, so I know when to say yes and who may need the money and that. I often help a lot of the local people out with things that I know have happened. Like there has been a death that I'm aware of and that, and maybe they need 1,000 pesos to go visit their family. A lot of times the Haitians go back to Haiti and may need money, and I will offer them money at that point, and I don't expect it back. So these things happen when I know the situation and I know the person, because the thing is, there's many stories here about mothers die on a regular basis, and children are sick all the time. Birthdays come more than annually here. They're on a monthly basis, birthdays, so you have to be careful.
And you can only have so many dead grandparents.
That's right, that's right. They have many grandparents here, which we're finding out. But yes, and so that's the thing, is you have to be careful because, and you know what? They bring pictures too. We're not sure who the person is in the picture, but everybody, a lot of times you see the same picture with different families of this person who's in the casket or the person who's in the hospital and that. So there are lots of tricks out there and how to get money off of us gringos.
Everyone, I'm with Cerise Fairfax, who also runs a YouTube channel down here. Just put in Cerise Fairfax Sosua, she should definitely pop up. And we are over here near Plan B in Sosua.
Yeah.
Now Cerise, how do you handle beggars who come up to you?
Well, usually I just say, no hoy, mi amor. Not today, my love. And they listen, pretty much. They might go a little, not today, my love. But I've lived here long enough now, I think, for them to know that I've given. And when I say no, it's no. Right. And I've had to learn, and they've had to learn too. I think it's about rapport when it comes to the beggars in the street.
And what about hustlers, Cerise? How do you handle them? The people who speak really good English, and they've got all these different services that they can offer you.
I hustle them back.
Yeah?
100%. I hustle them right back. What service are you offering? Well, I have moto maid, and I can hire you. I hustle them right back.
Everyone, I'm here with Clayton, been on video before. Thanks for jumping on camera.
Yeah, no problem.
Clayton, how do you handle when beggars come up to you?
Well, I mean, I think just be friendly, and each situation's different. Usually just be polite and just say, no, I'm sorry, you don't tengo nada, and they'll move on.
Is there situations where you would give to them?
Yeah, I think sometimes I feel people are deserving, and yeah, if I've got 50 or 100 pesos in my pocket, I'll give it to them. So
okay.
Yeah.
So Johnny, when it comes to vendors over here who want to sell bananas or avocados or cell phone covers or other products, how often do you actually shop with them, or do you normally just look at them as
the vendors, it depends
hustlers?
upon, first of all, what they're selling. If it's something I need, then I'll actually give them a little bit of attention, or something maybe that I don't want. Also, I look to see who it is, to see if it's a legitimate vendor or if it's just somebody doing a hustle. Because I don't have time for the people, as I've said before, that want to hustle. But if it's something I need, if it's some fruit, and I'm interested in fruit, then yeah, I'll go ahead and buy something from them.
Well, if I can just throw one in there, I think also using the finger and just shaking like that, sideways, and just a quick look, no gracias, and then look away. You know, because if you look at them more than 1 second,
Right.
then they think, I can get this lady or this guy, you know. So
Yeah, the no like this is excellent advice.
Cerise, how do you handle the vendors down here that sell avocados, oranges, jewelry? I know you are a good shopper. I've seen you in action there.
Oh, when I first got here, I was like, oh my gosh, Manaki! I wanted to see everything. But now I do actually, you know, if they're selling avocados, I do like to buy locally from those ladies that go all the way from Playa Chiquita, all the way back down to Los Cheramicos, even to, you know, Bella Vista. I've seen them walk all day long. So I do buy the avocados. Once upon a time, almost 2 years ago, they were selling them to me for 50 pesos, which is $1 American. Now I get them for the prices of the locals here. 25, 25 pesos, and that's it. But I do buy off the vendors walking on the street. I absolutely do. They are working, they're not hustling, they have something to sell, and I buy it.
Would you say when you say no, then they often switch from selling their product to begging?
Well, no, because I'm pretty adamant about my no, buying so much in the past. Now when I say no, it's like, no, mi amor, not today. And they go, okay, but I have seen them get a little bit more persistent with my friends who I'm sitting with.
Right.
And then I have to tell them, yo muy ocupada, por favor. You know, no hoy. I'm very busy right now, having a conversation. So they will tend to get in and lean in a little bit more to people who are new. But the key is developing a rapport with them, not pushing them away so nastily. And especially, they can be annoying to a lot of people who just want to be on the beach. And then it could be that fifth person that goes up to them that annoys them and they're like, ah! But they really should just have a saying. There was a saying that you said before in one of your videos, something about blanco, no banco.
Yeah, I would only do that if they don't respect. When I say no gracias, if they keep coming, being a white guy, I can say, soy blanco, no un banco. That means I'm white, not a bank. It rhymes.
Right.
So respecta.
Right,
okay?
exactly.
Respect my decision.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they get that one. That one is common
then
here.
they're on their way.
Yeah, they go, oh, okay. And they get that one and they walk away. So I think it's just really important to have like a mantra, if you will. Something that you're going to say all the time. Just one little phrase. In Espanol, though, it's very important to say it in Spanish. And also very confident. No hoy today. No hoy, mi amor.
Not today.
Not today, my love. And if it's a guy, no hoy, muchacho. Or mi amigo. No hoy, mi amigo. And that's it.
Everyone, I'm here with Barry from somethingfeelswrong.com. Your hangout is normally Cabarete, and you've met me up here near Rio San Juan today. Thanks for jumping on camera.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Yeah, we're just spending the afternoon together. We don't often get to see each other, but when we do, we like to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And Barry, when do you think people down here become pushovers? What situations do they easily kind of fall into getting?
I don't know if I'm really the right guy to ask those kind of questions, because I think those answers are really subjective to the individual. If somebody's comfortable giving someone 100 pesos, great. If someone thinks he just got ripped off, it's again a different view, but you don't have to give anything. And the simple fact is, what I've learned is when I first came here, I used to get hustled too, specifically by cops looking for money on the side, the checkpoints, and I'd actually even say, well, no, you want 500 pesos? No problem. You want 1,000 pesos? No problem. The only thing is I need a picture of your cedula for ID, so I have tax purposes back home. And they understand that, but I speak Spanish. So then they'd say, oh, get rid of him. He's an asshole. He's a troublemaker. So because they're not allowed to be doing that. So you give what you want to give. As far as thinking about it another way too, look, these people hardly have anything, and they don't have the same options that many of us that come from more developed nations do. So kind of, I see a lot of people brag about the amount of tax they pay as if it's a badge of good honor. If you can find it being hustled for 100 or 200 pesos once in a while doesn't bother you, go with the flow. Life's too short. Honestly, these people don't have the opportunities that we do. Secondly, we're already getting ripped off hugely by our home countries, so bear with it from that context. The other thing I could tell you is you don't have to do nothing. If somebody's abrupt and you don't like it, you just walk away and you tell them that. if you find you had good service or you find somebody's trying to do the best, even though you feel you're getting hustled just a little bit, just use your own discretion. They're basically, life is what you're going to make of it, and you can sweat out the few pesos, or you can learn to put away the US dollars. You'll win that argument. So just enjoy it. Life is too short for all this stuff.
Thank you very much, Barry.
Pleasure.
Always good words from you. And we'll keep enjoying our day here by Paradise Beach.
It's a beautiful day. Okay, thanks for giving me a few minutes.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Shelley, so in situations where people want to help because they see that you are maybe in an awkward situation with your vehicle, or you're carrying heavy grocery bags and they come running and they want to help out, how do you handle those situations?
Okay, so one of the things you will find, and everybody mentions here in the Dominican, is people here are very helpful. People always are there. I mean, you know what it's like back home, you know, anything can happen and people step over you. Here it's a different story. If something happens, you run out of gas, you fall down, whatever happens, there are lots of people come running over to help you. The Dominican people are great that way. So, depending on the situation and what you need, if you need help, say you run out of gas, someone's going to go give you gas, or they're going to push you or whatever, then take the help in that. They love to help you and give them whatever's necessary. 100 pesos is a usual fare of helping people out, but do that.
In those situations, it's important to say, okay, I'll give you 25 pesos to help do that, or 50 pesos, whatever the amount you think that
Sure.
help is worth. You hit them with it straight out the gate, and then they go, no, I want 200. And then you say, no thanks then.
That's right.
Okay, it's either 50 pesos or I don't need your help.
And you know what? There are people who actually will say, when you offer them the money, they'll say, no. No, I'll just do this, no problem, I'll do it in that. And I find that often. Now the thing is, they call me Mama, I'm an older woman here, and they all look after me, so I'm very fortunate. So they're not taking advantage of me as much as they may a younger person or somebody like that. But accept the help, it's good to do that. Make friends.
And it depends on how much of a desperate situation it is, because let's face it, sometimes I really need a translator, even though I can get by with English, but Spanish, sometimes I need that translator, and I'm not always willing to give 100 pesos or 200 pesos for that service. So it depends on how much I need them. But if I'm walking with bags and I'm good, I'll be just like, no, gracias.
If you do need their service, do you negotiate the price up front?
I do. Right, I learned that from your channel actually before I came here almost 2 years ago. And you were like, negotiate the price on the motor control no matter where you're going, because it's different in the daytime and it's different at night. And I've really learned that. So that advice that you gave, you're welcome. That advice that you gave was amazing. And that's what I do with everything now, not just moto concho. Anything that doesn't have a price on it, I'm like, ¿cuánto cuesta, por favor? Especially the La Puga down the street. They give me a price, and it's, you know what, you can hustle back if there's no fixed price, and I think that's always a good thing. Always ask a price before you grab something or you agree to a service. Yep.
And Johnny, what about police when they start behaving like typical beggars or hustlers? That could be situations where they tap the motorbike tank, or they're begging for drinks or food or other things. How do you normally handle them?
Well, I don't really have a problem with that. I did a while back when they first got here and they didn't recognize you, because always that sort of situation normally happens to a person that's new in the area, that looks a little bit naive when they're walking down the street, maybe an older couple, and they will approach that older couple, and usually being friendly to them. And then before they leave, though, that's when they'll ask for something. Maybe could you please give me a little, in Spanish, gas for my motorcycle, or maybe I could get some food.
So your advice is?
Yeah, my advice is not to do it, and that's easy for me to say. But if you're a tourist and you're here for the first time and that happens, you probably get a little bit scared and think, "Ooh, even though he's being friendly, it may be something happening if I don't give him something."
I meet two types of expats down here as well. There's those who believe you have to give to the police to have that network, and then I think you and I are on the same walkie-talkie channel on that one. I don't give to them because once a pushover, always a pushover. And a hustler is a hustler, whether he's wearing a uniform or not. So I remember once they pulled into where I was living and tapped the motorbike tank, and I just said to them, I tell you what, you catch a thief and I'll give you a propina, which is a tip. Do that, I'll give you a tip. And then they just started the motorbike and drove off. They didn't even say goodbye. But at least they never hassled me again for money. And another time they pulled up next to me, another couple of cops, there's usually two on a bike, and said, hey, can you buy some gasolina for a motorbike? And I said, listen to my tank, it's more empty than yours. Maybe you buy some for mine. And then they started the motorbike again. They just put you in a too hard basket when you won't give them anything. And I would rather reject them that one time and then never be bothered by that cop again.
Yeah, there's no advantage to handing out money. It's not going to be, like you said, some guys believe or gals believe that I give them some money that it's going to really help me out. It's not going to help you out at all. And it's not going to hurt you if you don't give it to them. Nothing's going to happen.
That's right. Another little scenario I had, last one, on this one. Don't give them your phone number. A lot of these police officers would like your phone number and they're quick to ask, is that your WhatsApp? And then they'll pester you. They say, let's say your name is Frank. They're going to text you and say, hey Frank, this is Joselito from the Policía Nacional. How are you doing? How's your family? But the whole conversation quickly starts steering towards you giving him money because he starts telling you about all the problems he's got, just like any other hustler that you could come across. So
not a good idea to pass your phone number out.
Don't pass your phone number, don't pass money, but do reward them if they do some kind of effort. I've had to call police before, and then the first thing I did was to say, I'm going to give you this. This is not for petrol. This is for you sorting out X, Y, and Z. And then they went and did it. That was something to do with noise pollution, but now I'm rewarding them for performing, and that's what I like doing.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Anyway, thanks for all your great input,
pleasure.
Johnny. As always,
good to
have
see you
a super
again.
day.
All right, take care.
Oh, that's an interesting situation. Being a hotel owner, I must admit I let my son deal with that a lot of the times. He has a way with the police, but for the most part, it's certainly not as bad as it used to be. We certainly don't get the issues that we used to have. But the thing is, they might drop by for some water or something like that, no issue. We give them their water or whatever. But for the most part, we don't pay the police any money, and we certainly don't recommend that people do that. We don't offer them money, or, you know, you don't need to do that here. We find the police that we work with here have been really good over the last few years. They come, it's usually a water or something like that. It's something like at home and back home where they go to McDonald's, get a free coffee. That's what we offer here. We don't get much more than that now, which is great.
Excellent. Fantastic words there, Shelley, like always. And if you want to check out Shelley's hotel, it's Coco Hotel in Playa Chiquita, and you have the bar there with karaoke every Wednesday, and it's a very cheerful place.
Please come down and visit us. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thankfully, I really haven't. You know, probably because I'm not out in the streets late at night. And when I am out, I'm usually with a Dominican. And if I'm not with a Dominican and I'm by myself, they're actually pretty cool to me. I used the police service one time before, and they were very helpful to me. I think they're a lot different with the women foreigners than they are with the men foreigners. I've heard a lot of stories, like, you know, people getting pulled over and having to pay a little cash, but I haven't really heard much else. I know you're on a good crusade, and people love you for it. People send me your videos, actually, through WhatsApp. They're saying, did you see this one yet? So this is awesome. And,
thank you very much, Cerise.
You're welcome.
Give yourself a shout out.
All right, Cerise Fairfax. You guys can check me out on social media. Thank you.
Cerise Fairfax. There you go. Thank you so much, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Everyone, I'm here with Mark that you've seen before in my videos. Thanks for jumping on camera again, Mark.
Hi, Mr. T.
Hi there. Now, what would you say, if we just think about the title of this video, makes foreigners, whether they're tourists or new expats down here, typical pushovers, and in what situations are they too tight or too stingy? Start with the pushover, please.
I can think of one that personally has happened to me. There's a fruit truck that comes by here. It's called a guagua, and it delivers fruit. And I've gone out there at times before where I would say to them, I want this and that, and I want this and that, pineapples, bananas. Before you know it, the price is up around 1,000 pesos. In that case, I would have been a pushover. All I want is the fruit. These guys are very friendly. They're not thieves or anything. They're just young Dominican gentlemen that want to make a living. But what I've learned is from my Dominican moto friends, the way they buy the fruit, I'll go out there with 500 pesos and I'll say, I want 500 pesos of fruit. And then they pick out this and that, and they'll pick out, before you know it, I've got a whole pile of fruit for 500 pesos because I've made it clear ahead of time what I'm willing to pay. If I don't put that money down at the front, then who knows how much I'm willing to pay? They don't know. I know. But the same bag of fruit might be 1,000. So it's very important with the Dominicans, because there's no prices attached to anything here, to make the price attached yourself. You got a motor ride downtown, you let them know it's going to be 50. Or if you can say it in Spanish, even better, you can tell him or show it to him. He goes, okay. When you get there, you give him the 50. But if you don't say it when you get downtown, that motor ride's going to be 100. Guaranteed. He's going to elevate it to what he thinks your naivety and your ability to be a pushover is. Or he'll go down to your... If you're too stingy, that's not going to work either, because you're not going to be able to deal with these people, because they're very open-hearted, they're very warm, they're very friendly. And they see a stingy person walk by that's not communicating, they'll just ignore you. So you might have a very good trip down here, you won't lose your money, but you won't talk to anybody. So there's a balance between the two.
And Mark, in what other situations would foreigners be typical pushovers down here?
Well, I'm thinking of my own situation when I arrived here. I met the motos out front, and I really liked one of them, and I've used him the whole time I've been here. And we go out and we do things. We go to the bank, we go to the fruit market, we go to a restaurant together, and I have a level of trust with him. But I've made it very clear with him that what he's going to get out of it, which is I buy him some gasoline sometimes, we get some soup, but there's a level of trust built up. I think it's very important to find out who you can trust, so that you don't become a pushover. But you also have to not be stingy with it. It is a very fine balance with these people, because they're very good at this. They're very smart. They've been dealing with tourists for a long time.
Well, I suppose it's a matter of testing them.
Yes.
When you are the first one that brings up the money part.
Yes.
Okay. To retain our friendship, I just want to make sure it's clear that if we go for half a day out to La Boca, I'm not paying you for your time. I'll pay your meals, I'll pay for the petrol.
Yes.
You get drinks, meals, petrol. We have a good time out there. We can go swimming in the river or whatever. If you're keen to do that, we go. What do you say, Jose?
Yes.
And then you watch his response. What do you reckon?
You're right, Mr. T. You almost tease them with your generosity to see if they want to take advantage of it. And if they take advantage of it, you just never deal with them again. The ones that don't take advantage of your generosity because you've bought them a couple of beers or whatever, you realize this person has some trust, so you can hang on to those people. So your level of stinginess, which is a natural thing to have in a foreign country, you don't want to be stingy with these people. But you don't want to be taken advantage of either. There is a fine balance, but it comes down to common sense, which people lose when they come to these countries, it seems, because they've got money, they've got a 2-week trip, they want to have a good time, but you don't want to go home broke. But you also don't want to go home having no experiences, because you're not dealing with the people. So,
well, if we just talk about stinginess, I think one of the key things is reward efforts, or results. If somebody did something for you, they help translate when you are in an awkward situation. Let's say you had to deal with a traffic cop, or somebody in a shop, and you didn't know how to get that message across, and they were helpful, and therefore you got it cheaper, or you saved time, you saved effort, you saved frustration. That should be rewarded.
Definitely.
And a lot of the time, would you agree, foreigners forget to reward them for that?
Yes.
And there's no free lunches down here. This is not a welfare state, so being flexible there, they say trees survive in nature because they're flexible. The same with humans, If we are flexible to say, well, he or she did something good for me, so here you go, I'm going to give you 50 pesos, 200 pesos, or 1,000 pesos, depending on what that help entailed.
Very much, Mr. T. What happens, I think, is people start to paint a brush. You've been, say, ripped off a couple of times, so then you shut down all communication with the other Dominicans. But there's a Texaco up the street here where there's a young man that does a really good work. You can just see. So sometimes when I'm there, and I'm not even getting served. My moto's I just give him 50. And he's so happy and thankful. I'm just rewarding him for his good work, even though doesn't contribute to me at all. There's a security guard by the bank that I go to that always watches me when I'm in a good way. So a couple times I've given him 50 pesos. When I see him now, he smiles and laughs, and he'll tell me, don't use the bank today because, you know, a card was eaten her. So if you see people doing good work here, and especially if they're doing good work for you, help them out a little bit. This is a poor country, and they'll look after you. But don't get taken advantage of. And the way to find out if you're being taken advantage of is by being taken advantage of. You might lose 500 or you might lose 1,000, but you have to risk a little bit in order to find that out. That's how you're going to learn your lessons. And once you've learned the lesson from this individual or that restaurant or work, just don't go back. Don't reward bad behavior with your money, but reward good behavior. And use your common sense in this country.
And people can also overpay. Just before we actually started this video clip, we were discussing about tipping. So if I may just throw that in the pot. If I'm in a petrol station, I mean, they've got people pulling in and out all the time. So 10 pesos puts a smile on the face, you know. If you want to be really generous, okay, 20. But if you go over that, then you're just spoiling them. And then after a while, they'll start thinking that any foreigner who only gives them 10 is a bastard, you know. So if you're in a restaurant, let's just say an ice cream shop for 20 minutes, having an ice cream and maybe a hot chocolate, you know, 30, 40 pesos, maximum 50. If you're in a restaurant and they've been running in and out for, you know, an hour, maybe 100, 150. If you're super generous, 200 because they're such a wonderful waitress or waiter. But if you go beyond that 200 pesos, we're not talking dollars here, folks. Okay, if you go beyond that, then you're destroying it for every other foreigner who's going to come afterwards.
Definitely.
You know, so reward efforts and results and attitude and kindness and help, but don't go overboard.
In one of your other videos, Mr. T, I remember, and I've taken this to heart, you said, when you're walking around here, smile, greet the people with some kindness. And I found in greeting the Dominicans, hola, all they want is a little respect. It's their country. They fought hard for it. Just a good morning in their language, preferably, or a good afternoon. And they see you coming and going, if you can garner some respect from these people, most of them are not going to take advantage of you. They'll save that for the other naive tourists that are coming here. Don't be a naive tourist, but don't be closed off either. This isn't New York City. This isn't some of these cities where you just shut down, it seems to me. Open up to these people a bit, but open up and be guarded as well. It's a fine balance.
Thank you very much, Mark. Always
Thank you, Mr.
very
T.
cool words from you, and have fun.
Say goodbye, Mr.
We got Wednesday on camera.
Wednesday. Miracle.
This is the cutest dog in the world. Take care.
Thanks, Mr. T.
Ciao. All right, folks. Also, make sure you check out InfoHub, which is a new service that saves you a lot of time, hassle, and potentially a lot of money from making some of the typical mistakes that tourists or expats make down here. Check it out in the link seen below, or find it in the description. And thanks for watching. Till next time, take care. See you later.